Happy Monday. Hopefully, you guys are getting in more of a groove with this historic event. Before I start reading, I have a small message for you, and it's this. Take charge of your schedule. You're old enough now, okay? So, look, guys, I've shared this with everybody. It was a suggestion, because some people are making adjustments, but the idea is that you and your parents together, not just you alone, we're going to decide on your schedule. And the idea is that this maybe go up on your refrigerator, and you know kind of what you're supposed to do each day. No password required. So I just want to go over some of that. Actually, there's a little bit of a change. Writing. So the read a book and write a paragraph and turn it on Friday. I kind of want you to do this. On Monday, I want you to rough it. I prefer you to share a Google Doc with me, but a lot of people have found some great rhythm doing it in paper and pencil and texting it to me. No problem. That's great. Wednesday, you edit it, have somebody read it. Friday or Thursday, you turn it in. Now, the reason this Monday, yes, don't wait until Wednesday or Friday. The reason this is 20 parents have requested that if you have not been keeping pace with ST Math or Ascend Math or texting me some paper math, and you have not been keeping pace with your writing, that I let them know by email on Wednesday. So, I'm asking you to take charge of your schedule, but I'm also asking you to be aware that I'm going to be communicating, are you doing some of the basics? What is there to do? Take a look at the schedule. And if you need another copy, I am happy to share it with you. So, it goes through a pretty good rhythm. You all know that Tuesday is Zoom meeting day. I'm going to share social studies reading on the blog and science videos. It's been Bill Nye, but next one I'm going to share is Nova, the science of dogs. And social studies reading, I'm going to start requiring a little bit of a response on Google Forms. But science video, I don't want you to write. I want you to watch with a family member and talk about it. You know I'm big on that talking thing. I've always said that when you really talk about something and you live it and you're present with it, it leads to writing it. So, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because Tuesday is our Zoom meeting day, you can do ST Math, Ascend Math, Math on paper. Some people like Khan Academy. Khan Academy has limitations. You really have to be your own teacher with Khan Academy. It's not bad, but it hasn't always worked for me. On Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And that's on the schedule. And then, of course, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you can do more, is your read a fiction book. And that's what you're supposed to be writing towards. Okay? And then, of course, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not Tuesday because it's Zoom meeting day, is my amazing read aloud videos. So let's read aloud already, Mr. Litt. It's already 4 minutes into the thing. Chapter 9. I got in the food line in plenty of time. When we last left Bud, he had left the Hooverville, and he had missed the train. And the flyer came fluttering down, and the flyer, going after the flyer, what was important to him is what kept him from catching the train. Some people think that that was a little spirit guiding him to where he's supposed to go. I got to the food line in plenty of time, but my pretend family wasn't anywhere around. I had to eat by myself without the brown sugar. After I was through, I went back to the library and sat under my tree, and I waited for the library to open. I kept thinking about Deeza Malone and her cute dimple. How could her father find them now? Finally, I saw people go into the library. The same librarian was there again. Good morning, ma'am. Oh, good morning, young man. Could I please borrow a pencil and paper and see that book about how far one city is from another again, please? Of course you may. You know, after I went home last night, I finally recognized you. Didn't your mother used to come in here with you a long time ago? Yes, ma'am. And if I remember correctly, you and your mother had different tastes in books. I remember your mother used to like mysteries and fairy tales. Isn't that so? Man, I can't believe she remembered that. And you're the little fellow who used to come in all the time and ask Miss Hill for books about the Civil War, aren't you? Yes, ma'am. I thought so. And when you're done with that book, bring it back to me. I have something special for you. She had a big smile on her face. I said, thank you, ma'am. But I didn't get too excited because I know the kinds of things librarian thinks are special. I went over to a table and found Flint and Grand Rapids in the lines of the book. I looked to where the two lines met. 120 miles. Wow, that's going to be a good little walk. Next, I wrote 120, and I divided by 5, because 5 miles is what you can walk in a day. And that came, or in an hour. That came up to 24. That means I'd have to walk 24 hours to reach Grand Rapids. One whole day and one whole night. I figured it would be easiest to do the night part first, so I decided to stick around the library until it got dark. And then I would head for Grand Rapids. I wrote down all the names of all the cities I'd have to pass through. Owasso, Ovid, St. John's, Iona, Lowell. I put the paper in my pocket. When I took the city book back to the librarian, she was still smiling. I bet you've been dying to know what the surprise is, haven't you? Yes, ma'am. She reached under her desk and she pulled out a thick book called The Pictorial History of the War Between the States. And it was gigantic. Thank you very much, ma'am. Enjoy! I took the book back to my table. I didn't want to tell her that I wasn't really interested in history. It was just the best gory pictures in the world came from the Civil War. And the book was full of them. There's another thing that's strange about the library. It seems like time flies when you're in one. One second I was opening the first page of the book, hearing the crackling sounds of pages, smelling the page powder that makes you sleepy, and reading what battle the picture was page on. And the next second the librarian was sitting over me saying, I'm very impressed. You really devoured that book, didn't you? But it's time to close now. You can come back tomorrow. I couldn't believe it. I'd spent the whole day reading. Her words snapped a smell on me, and my stomach started growling. I'm going to be too late for the mission. When she was walking me to the door, she stopped at her desk and she said, now I know that knowledge is food, but I couldn't help noticing you never went to eat. You must be very hungry. She handed me a paper bag and gave me another smile. Well, thank you, ma'am. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for everything. I went back under the Christmas tree and got my suitcase. By this time tomorrow, I'd be looking at the face of the man who I thought had to be my father. I started eating the cheese sandwich that the librarian gave me. And then I headed for Grand Rapids. It's funny how ideas are. In a lot of ways, they're just like seeds. Both of them start real small, and then whoop, zoop, zoop, before you can say Jack Robinson, they've grown bigger than you ever thought they could. If you look at a great big maple tree, it's hard to believe it started out as just a little seed. I mean, if you pick up one of those maple tree seeds and turn it over a couple times in your hand, there's no way your brain will buy that this thing can grow into something so big that you have to bend your neck to see the top of it. Something so big you can hang a swing on it. Or build a treehouse in it, or drive a car into it, and kill yourself and any bad luck passengers that might be taking a ride with you. Ideas are just like that. That's what started the idea of Herman E. Calloway being my father. Remember the cover? Herman E. Calloway, this guy. Something so teeny that if I hadn't paid it no mind, I would have been blown away with the first good puff of wind. But now, it was so big and important. The idea first got started when I was looking at my suitcase with one of the flyers showing Herman Calloway and his band. Like the seed falling out of the tree, getting planted. It started busting its head out of the dirt when me and the other boys at the home were getting our nightly teasing from the biggest bully there, Billy Barnes. He said, I don't belong in this place. I've been put here a mistake, and it ain't going to be too long before my mama comes gets me out. And Bugs said, Billy, how come it's taken your mama so long to find out where you're at? She must have been a real bad rememory. Seems like she, since was one of the ones dropped you off here, she would remember where she left you by now. But Billy said, well, Bugs. Will you take a look at who piped up? You know, I've seen lots of people have roach-infested houses, but you're the first person I've seen who has a roach-infested head. I I wouldn't expect a little ignorant roach head like you to know nothing about folks coming back here to get you out. You don't even know who your mama is or who your daddy is. He looked at the rest of us and he said, several little boys in this room and not one of you know who your folks is. I said, that's not true. I know who my mama is. I lived with her for 6 years. Another boy said, me too. Billy Bird said, is that right? He said to me, what about your father? How many years you live with him? I have a nickel here. You know what it says? He had stolen a nickel from somewhere. That's what it said. And he held it up. He preserved the buffalo like it was talking. That's what they had on nickels back then, buffalo heads. And he said, Billy, my man, go ahead and bet this little no-mama fool he don't know who his daddy is, so I have another nickel to bang around in your pocket with. Even before I had a chance to think, I said, you owe me a nickel. My daddy plays a giant fiddle, and his name is Herman E. Calloway. And with those words, I didn't even mean to see it, but that little seed started growing. The idea got bigger and bigger, and when I'd sit up at night and wonder why Mama kept those flyers, it dug its roots deep and it started spreading out. When I got old enough to understand, Mama must have known she wasn't going to be around long. She was going to leave me a message about who my daddy was. I knew Mama must be too embarrassed. The only trouble is she waited too long, and now I don't know. I mean, what other reason could there be for Mama to keep all those things I have in my suitcase and treat them like they were treasures? And why did I not know down in my guts they were real important? The little idea had gone and sneaked itself into being a mighty maple now, tall enough that if I looked at the top of it, I'd get a crook in my neck. I opened my suitcase, and I pulled out the flyers before it got dark. I put the blue one with the writing about Flint on the bottom, and I looked at the others. They had the same pictures of Herman E. Calloway, and the two guys was first called Herman E. Calloway and the Terminally Unhappy Blues Band. They were called the Masters of the Delta Blues. The other one was called Herman E. Calloway, Gifted Gents of Gospel, featuring Miss Grace Blessed Thomas's vocals. The other two flyers had little drawings. The first one was a drawing of an accordion, H.E. Koloski and the Wonderful Warblers of Warsaw, who were the Masters of Polka. The second one was a picture of the mountains and had a band named H.E. Vonnegut and the Boisterous Big Band of Berlin, who were the Masters of All We Behold. I put the flyers back in the suitcase and stood up. Just like Bugs, I was going out west. So, my social studies assignment for tomorrow, Tuesday, has a short bit of reading on jazz, but then 2 YouTube videos, because we need to learn about swing, big band, and jazz. It plays pretty big in this story. Okay, Zoom meeting tomorrow. Remember, show something you made and get a riddle. Show me a very thoughtful riddle. That's what we're going to share. They were fun. That's why. We need to have some fun. Talk to you soon.